I'm Steve Hovland with Delegate CFO. Today we're going to talk about the customer acquisition cost payback period. What is it? How do you calculate it? And more importantly, how does it help you determine the viability of your marketing campaign for new customer acquisition? Stay tuned. Okay, today's topic is about the customer acquisition cost payback period. Hopefully at the end of this video you find the information helpful. If that's the case, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media for more educational content on CFO services. So what is the customer acquisition cost payback? Well, the CAC Payback is a calculation used to estimate the time it takes a business to recoup the cost from a new customer acquisition and when it starts turning a profit. This metric is crucial when determining whether a customer acquisition strategy is worth pursuing or not, as it provides a clear picture of the potential risks and rewards associated with acquiring new customers. By considering the expected revenue and costs, businesses can assess the viability of their customer acquisition strategy and make informed decisions whether to continue the current strategy or modify the approach. Now, the importance of this particular calculation has several reasons. The first is business growth. This calculation is really essential for businesses looking to grow and expand. By evaluating the time it takes for a business to recover their acquisition costs and start generating a profit, the business can assess the potential risks and rewards associated with their growth strategy. This information can be used to make informed decisions about whether really to continue the current strategy or modify it. Resource allocation and cost management. Now, this calculation really is vital for businesses looking to manage their costs more effectively. By analyzing the time it takes for the customer acquisition cost to be recouped, the business can identify areas where they can cut costs or improve the bottom line. Again, this helps the business become more competitive and sustainable in the long run. Customer lifetime value. Now, by estimating the time it takes for the customer to become profitable, the business can determine the potential ROI or return on investment of acquiring new customers and make informed decisions about the customer acquisition strategies. And finally, competitive advantage. Again, by analyzing the time it takes for those acquisition costs to be recouped, the business can identify where they can improve their acquisition strategy and possibly gain an edge over their competitors. Now, let's go into an example on how this calculation actually works. Let's assume we have a software company, and we'll call them ABC. And management of ABC company has determined they want to do a targeted marketing campaign. Now, right now, they estimate that the campaign will cost about $20,000 and is expected to generate about 100 new customers. Average revenue per customer is about $500 per year, and currently the average customer lifetime is going to be 2 years. So now that we have this info, we can go through and do the calculation on the CAC payback period. So first item that obviously we need to do this calculation is we need to know what the CAC costs are. And in this example, it's $20,000 for the marketing campaign. Next, we need to know how much revenue they're going to make. So in this case, again, average revenue per customer is estimated at $500 per customer. And they're looking at bringing in possibly 100 new customers. So if we take just a simple calc of 100 customers times the $500 per customer, we get $50,000 revenue. Now that's per year. Now we have to say, okay, what is the lifetime for these customers? And right now it's averaging 2, so 50,000 times 2 is 100,000. So now we can actually get into the formula, which really is the CAC divided by the lifetime revenue of those customers, those new customers. And in this case, we take $20,000 divided by the 100,000 lifetime revenue, and in this case we get 0.2 years. Now, important to note, on this calculation you can actually do months if you want. In this case we did years, and so you have to understand that it's 0.2 years, so you just have to do a calculation of taking that 0.2 times 12 months, and then you'll get approximately a little over 2 months. So obviously in this example, it means that the payback period will recoup those acquisition costs in about 2.5 months. So now let's go and do an example of when the marketing campaign really won't work. And in this example, we're going to call our company XYZ Company. And they're going to do a targeted marketing campaign. And in this campaign, they estimate the cost will be about $50,000. They indicate that they think they're going to generate 400 new customers, and the average revenue per customer is $100 per year. However, the average lifetime for this particular situation is only 1 year. So again, to do the calculation, first we need to know what the CAC payback period is. So first, what's the CAC? In this case, it's the $50,000 for the marketing campaign. Then we need to calculate the revenue per the customer. So in this case, we know that there's $100 per customer, and we know there's 400 expected new customers. However, the lifetime for this particular situation is only 1 year. So obviously, as we go through and do the calculation, first we need to know what the revenue is going to be. So we take the $100 per customer, times it by the 400 new customers, and in this case we get 40,000. Well, in this example, it's fairly simplistic. It's pretty obvious before we even do the actual calc that the XYZ company is going to pay $50,000 to get $40,000. Or if you think of it a different way, they're going to hand over $10,000 to someone, probably a marketing company. So even without doing the calculation, we know just looking straight at the respective the respective numbers that this doesn't make sense. However, if we go through and do the calculation, again, we take the CAC divided by the lifetime revenue, we actually in this case get 1.25 years, which is actually greater than the lifetime of the respective future customers. In our previous example, we saw how the customer lifetime was 1 year. However, the payback period was 1.25 years. As a general rule of thumb, for a campaign to be a viable marketing campaign, the payback period needs to be less than the lifetime of the customers. What this means is the time it takes for a company to recoup its costs for new customer acquisition should be less than the average length of time that the customer remains a customer. This really ensures that the company really is not spending more money on acquiring customers, that they're generating revenue from those customers. However, it's important to consider other factors, such as the customer's lifetime value, the company's financial situation, and obviously the potential for repeat business or referrals. These factors really can affect the overall viability of a marketing campaign, even if that payback period is actually longer than the customer lifetime. Now, it's important to note that this particular formula, the CAC payback period, only really considers the cost, the CAC, divided by the monthly recurring revenue. Now, when you look at this particular formula, it does not directly consider net profit in the calculation. However, businesses really should always consider their net profit margins when evaluating the overall profitability of their acquisition strategy. A higher net profit margin usually indicates that the business obviously is generating more profit from the customer. However, this can actually offset a longer payback period. Obviously, conversely, a lower net profit margin may indicate that obviously their strategy is not sustainable or profitable in the long run, even if that payback period is actually within the respective desired range. In summary, while the payback period doesn't directly consider net profit, companies really need to be mindful of the net profit as they're evaluating the overall profitability and efficiency of their customer acquisition strategy. I'm Steve Huffman with Delegate CFO. I hope you found this information helpful, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you.